east of the Rockies. You're on the air. Hi.
Yes, sir. This is John in Peoria.
Hi, John.
I was wondering if you heard anything from the gentleman that called from Washington last week. And he was telling a story about the hole in his
Mel's
property.
Hole. Oh, well, yes. We've got the final chapter of Mel's Hole, and I read that fact several times. He has leased leased his hole. In other words, put another way, he's taken the money and has run.
He has?
Yep.
No word from him?
That's the word.
Huh. Interesting.
Well, I don't, in a lot of ways, I don't blame him. Whether or not you believe the whole story, faced with what he was and possibly going to jail, charged with a drug lab, losing his property, and all the rest of it, as opposed to an offer, I might have done the same thing. I know it's cowardly, people will say, but that's easy to say from an easy chair sitting by your radio. What a coward.
Right.
Right?
Well, it was a good story anyway.
Yeah, it was.
My wife's a skeptic, and I go home every weekend and tell her what I, listen to on Friday nights, and she was interested in this one.
Well, good.
She's skeptical about everything, so.
Well, that's healthy.
Yeah.
I can't say that, thank you, that I know that it was a true story. I have no way of knowing. I asked every conceivable question I could think of to ask during the course of the interviews, not just one, but two. And even to this moment, I have no way of knowing whether it was a true story or the whole story. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hi.
Art, Bill in Wisconsin.
Yes, sir.
Say, you recall the story of the guy who made a fortune selling the Brooklyn Bridge?
Well, I think I've heard about that.
And how about the guy who made a fortune selling, soliciting donations to the widow of the unknown soldier?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you think someday Mel in his hole may rank alongside those people in notoriety?
Well, he may already be there.
Yeah.
I mean, if what he said about the way this got resolved is true, then the taxpayers are sponsoring Mel's comfortable retirement to a small Australian town, probably unnamed.
Well, I bet you P.T. Barnum is smiling down from the great beyond someplace on the Art Bell Show and the story of Mel in his hole.
It could well be, sir, whether it is a P.T. Barnum thing or it's absolutely true. Either way, it was a whale of a tale.
You know it's illegal in this country to even pour a cup of oil on the ground.
Yeah, it is. That's right.
And when you talk about a guy putting animals and refrigerators down in a hole, you think of the agencies and so on that would be crawling all over his property out there by now.
Well, if you buy the story of the hole, then that would be a very minor matter compared to the possible benefits, whatever in the hell they would be, from possessing such an endless hole. I mean, the government would care a lot less about refrigerators and dead cows than it would whatever properties are contained in such a deep hole. True?
Yep, all kinds of ways of looking at it. Okay, see you, Art.
Take care. Bye-bye. I thought it was a very cool story. I still have no idea whether to believe it or not. I waver back and forth. But it just may be true. You know why? Because I've been receiving this series of faxes and emails from people who live in that particular area who don't doubt it and or who themselves have seen and heard of such a hole. So I don't know what to think of it. As I said during the course of the interviews, too, that I did with him, I asked every question I could think of to ask to try and verify the story, and that was all I could do. Other than that, it was a hell of a story, no question. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Good morning.
Hello.
Hello. Where are you?
I'm calling from Birmingham, Alabama.
Birmingham, yes, sir.
I've been listening to you tonight. You was talking to that lady named Joyce.
Yes.
Okay. I'm a cab driver, and I work at the Birmingham Airport, and about halfway between Birmingham and Atlanta, in a town called Anniston,
Yes, I've heard of it.
there's a military base called Fort McClellan.
Right.
Okay? They have two schools there. They have the MP school, and they have the Chemical and Biological Weapons School.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Back in the summer, I picked up a man at the airport in Birmingham, and I took him to Fort McClellan, which is not uncommon. That happens all the time.
Sure, I'm sure it does.
Okay, while we were on the way, we got to talking. And one thing led to another. And he happened to mention that he was an instructor at the Biological and Chemical Weapons School.
Yes.
And he told me that he was going to tell me some things that he wasn't supposed to, but he wasn't going to tell me his name.
So what did he tell you?
He told me that there definitely was biological weapons used in the Gulf War.
Our side, their side, both?
He didn't say,
Mm-hmm.
but he did say that they were definitely used, and he said that if I said anything and it got back to him, he would deny it.
Well, fortunately, you've kept your mouth shut.
Yeah.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. I think it's becoming pretty clear that they were used. Did we use them? I don't have evidence of that. I don't know. Were they used? Obviously.
Hi. Lafayette, Indiana, WLS.
Yes, sir, the mighty WLS.
Yeah, I wanted to give you some reasons for not walking into the light.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Go to the darkness instead, right? Is what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
All right, and why should one proceed to the darkness at this critical choice moment?
Because Lucifer is described as being an incredibly beautiful, brilliant white light. He's called the angel of light. And you got to remember that he was bound and then cast out of heaven. He wasn't just cast out, he was bound. So he has no mobility. He's got to talk you into coming to him.
All right, but even if I buy what you're saying, the devil would project a white light. Okay, fine. But then why wouldn't God project a even brighter white light?
Well,
Why would God have a dark choice, be the dark choice? That doesn't make sense.
Well, because God is described as being this incredibly powerful force who inspires you to fear and trembling. So that's not what the NDEers are.
Do you know how much damn trouble you're causing by this?
Oh, yeah.
You do,
want a
huh?
lot, you want even more fun. You know, you keep asking about that ancient race that built all the stuff.
Yes.
They're called the Blue Race.
Are they?
Yeah, and you can find out lots about them with the Wicca sources. They were one of the first four elements, and they were supposed to be true repeaters, you know. You know, they could actually remember their former lifetimes.
I'm sorry, but I just can't buy that it's a trick and you should go to the darkness. I just can't buy that.
Think of this.
God wouldn't trick you like that. I mean, God would know.
Yeah, but Lucifer would.
That maybe he would, but God then would put a brighter light so you'd know to go to the brighter light.
Yeah, but the god may have been killed by the Titans, like the mythology says, and all you're left with is Lucifer.
Well, then 99.9% of us are dead meat because we're headed for the light. Traditionally, we all know you go to the light, right? But you have a caller like this, and darn it, I'll be thinking about that now for weeks. His reasoning. He was pretty good.
On the toll-free line, you're on the air. Hello.
Yes, hi, Art.
Hi.
I wanted to talk about all the predictions of the end of the world. It seems like there's a lot of them coming. There's a Bible teacher from Alameda, California, who says that the world will end sometime after September 6th of this year. And the Maoris in Australia aren't having any more children because they say that the world will end.
Is that right?
Yes, uh-huh.
Well, I don't think I'd be inclined to give up on it like that myself.
Well, you never know whether it's going to happen anyway. See?
Well, you never know, but I mean, you're only around here in life one time, so what if you're wrong?
Uh-huh. And there's a group of Orthodox Jews who say the Messiah will be here any minute. I mean, it's kind of amazing.
I know, and there are people saying that the Antichrist is alive now.
Uh-huh.
I've heard it all.
But I mean, I've never heard it like this before.
I never have either.
It always used to be scruffy people in the park who used to yell Bible verses at you.
I know, or go down. I saw them in New York carrying their signs. Remember those?
Uh-huh.
They're still there, actually.
So, I mean, I don't know what to make of all this.
I don't either.
So,
I just answer each line as it comes along. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
God, what do you do about all this? What do you do about all of this? Why are we getting this sudden swamping of people saying this? Well, maybe because they're jumping on the bandwagon. Or maybe because a lot of people are feeling this. I don't, I guess I'm sort of in the middle on this. I don't know one way or the other. I just punch lines and listen. Collectively, though, it is a little worrisome, isn't it? I guess the earthquake freaked me out a little bit. 8.1. Top end of 8.1. 400 miles under the earth in Bolivia. If you listen to some of what... And why did the Associated Press throw in this news about discoveries of new fault lines under San Francisco in the same story, mind you? Wildcard line, you're on the air. Hello.
Hey, Art.
Hey. Where are you, sir?
I am in New Mexico.
Okay.
Badlands. Just a studier of a lot of these secret societies because living in New Mexico, you get a lot of the government rule and stories being passed around by people who are involved in government. As far as the Masons are concerned, there are societies that are above them that have been holding on to the secrets of supposedly mankind and the things that have been happening to us for the last 6,000 to 8,000 years. But the highest...
Do you believe that? I mean, in your studies, do you believe there are organizations that literally know the secret of the origins of mankind?
Not only are they the secret of the origins, but where they are leading us now. I mean, it goes that far. The Brotherhood of the Snake or the Brotherhood of the Dragon.
The Brotherhood of the Snake?
Oh, yeah.
Now, that's what I haven't heard of.
Yeah, Brotherhood of the Snake or the Dragon, each one of those two.
The Dragon.
They were originally known as the Mysteries or the Brotherhood of the Mysteries or the Secrets of the Mysteries.
All right, well, let me try a couple of questions out on you. What do they consider the origins of man to be? And follow up, where are we going?
I can give you, it's very simple, and I actually stumbled upon this studying Zechariah. You know
Zechariah? Oh, I've interviewed Zechariah any number of times.
Oh, yeah. He has put it all basically together through the cuneiform of the Sumerian writing. Now,
is Zechariah a member of one of these?
Actually, he is a member of the Jewish Society, which is another society.
But not connected to the snake or
not
dragon?
Not connected to either one of those two at all, no. Now, the Brotherhood of the Snake, the Brotherhood of the Dragon, they are the forefathers of the furthest secret society back. Then below them is the Illuminati.
So the Illuminati falls in below the Snake and Dragon?
They do, yes, and they are like the servants of the Brotherhood of the Snake.
The Illuminati are the servants of them?
They sure are. And if you go down below that, that's the Knights of the Templar.
God, where does that leave? And the Knights of the Templar are below that?
Yes. And then the Masonic Society comes in place.
Then Masons?
Yes.
Boy, then where are we?
We are way low.
Yeah. Sheesh.
Yeah, but where are we going? Let me tell you where we're going.
Please.
The Freemason, which is basically... they're kind of an offshoot of Mason. It's kind of like...
well, you make them sound like the worker bees.
But they are the worker bees.
They are the worker bees.
We are just the fun lovers that like to watch all these guys do their thing up there in high government.
So in other words, then, really, I'm getting what you would expect to get from the Masons or the sister organization, the Order of the Eastern Star or whatever. They're all saying, look, there are no secrets. My dad told me there are no secrets that have not been revealed, blah, 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 blah. You would expect to get that, wouldn't you, if what you're saying is true?
You expect it, of course, because that's all they're going to get anyway.
Right, I got you.
They're not going to get any of the information even their fathers and people that if they've had 5-10 generations down the line as a Mason, they're not going to get the information from the Knights Templar. They are just another society that they've got to rely on to keep the interest or to keep the infrastructure of their society alive.
Have you ever talked with anybody from the Snake or the Dragon?
I have As a matter of fact, I have not. But I'll tell you, there are two people in this world right now that are in high government that are part of that society.
People whose names I would know?
You would know them. Yes, you would. As a matter of fact, I don't like to bring this up because there's so much religious ties to it, but Jesus Christ was a member of a society.
Which one?
He was a member of the Illuminati.
Jesus Christ was a member of the Illuminati?
He sure was. And that.
Why wouldn't he be a snake or a dragon at least?
Because he was what we would consider don't shoot the messenger.
Well,
like Paul Revere.
They did though. They did the equivalent. They crucified the messenger.
Let me tell you some secrets because I'm not a member of society and nobody knows who I am.
Lay it out. Go ahead.
Okay, here it is. Jesus Christ was sent off by his family and the tribe that he lived in near Portico, which was a Roman Catholic controlled area of Italy. And he was sent off to the Orient to learn about other things like Buddhism, Taoism, Hinduism. And on his travels and his learnings, he found out that the Romans had taken and destroyed the Alexandria Library.
Was this in the early life of Christ before we... Okay.
Now, of course, you know the fire of the Alexandria Library.
Yes.
And the Romans took all of the knowledge of the earth, and that included the origins of man. And it also included something that people never talk about.
What?
The decoding of our current Bible. There was one original Bible in the beginning. But when supposedly God, the gods that were here before, as Zechariah says...
those are the gods. In other words, extraterrestrials, actually, right?
Well, whatever you want to call an extraterrestrial. Somebody that's not from this earth, okay.
Well, somebody who's on a planet that has an atmosphere and life and water and is not connected to any system and revolve around any sun, that would be certainly an extraterrestrial from our point of view.
Exactly. Now, and let's talk logically now, and not far-fetched leap of faith. How do we learn? We learn from our parents. Our parents learn from their parents. Mm-hmm. So I could term that genetic learning. So genetic learning had to come from somewhere. There's ought to be an origination point. So if you want to call us an offshoot of an extraterrestrial, that's what we are.
And that's one of the great secrets.
That's one of the great secrets that was stolen and kept. Now, the secrets are kept right now.
Well, if we are the descendants of extraterrestrials, as Sitchin would suggest, and you are saying, then who was Jesus Christ?
Okay, let's get into the words. Jesus of the Christ. The Christ, the word Christ, is used as the love or the unity. So he was the leader of the love or unity or a non-technologically advanced society, which has been proven over many.
But what about all of the things that Jesus, it is written that Jesus did that a mortal man could not do?
I listened to you talk a little bit about Houdini. Last night you talked about Houdini.
Are you saying that Jesus was nothing but a master magician?
No, I can't say that. What I can say is that he was given powers.
Well, you said Houdini.
Yes, but people, if you saw Houdini perform,
yes,
and the person that saw him perform goes and tells 5 of his friends, did he tell them the exact same story that happened?
No, of course not.
No. So, Jesus Christ, or Jesus of the Christ, or Jesus of the unity, the leader of the love, was able to perform many things. He knew how to save people's lives. He knew how to create things with other. He had a.
Well, how about parting a sea? Now that's not a trivial thing.
No, but that's
a
weather-related thing, Art.
Weather-related?
That's a weather-related anomaly.
Which sea lately has parted because of any weather that we know of?
Well, I can't really tell you, but the sea was only 6 inches tall.
Well, I wouldn't. Even so. I mean, I saw that it was bigger than that in the Ten Commandments.
You're exactly right. I mean, listen, we could argue the semantics of what the Bible says, but what I'm trying to explain to you is just the basic order of who owns the secrets. Now, I can tell you, and I'd love to tell all your millions of listeners right now, who And I've been waiting to tell this for I don't know how long.
Tell it.
Who owns the secrets of the world?
And it's the dragons and the snakes.
That's right. And you know who runs the dragons and the snakes?
No, I don't.
Okay, you heard of the G7.
The G7 economic?
The G7
all right.
the heads of the G7 nations.
Yes.
Okay, you've heard of the 10 kings in the Bible.
Yes.
Okay. You can add those people into that category. And there are several smaller countries that are actual descendants of Jesus of the Christ family who are also a part of this Illuminati, who have the knowledge. But I'll tell you where the knowledge is kept.
Where?
The knowledge has been kept with the Roman Catholics this whole time in the Vatican. It's there and will always stay there and will never be penetrated.
Now that I can believe.
Yes. So, I mean, the logical aspect of this situation is,
Father,
where are we going?
The late Father Malachi Martin told me there are secrets beyond all belief hidden within the Vatican.
That's exactly right, and that's where it came from, was the Alexandria Library. That was taken and destroyed, and the Roman Catholics told everybody in the whole world, or I should say the Romans, because they weren't Catholic at the time. The Romans told the whole world that in this fight that they had with Egypt, that the mysteries and the knowledge of the world and the knowledge of electricity and plumbing and engineering and everything that they had involved in the situation, and the origins of man, which was the most important part, was destroyed, which is not true.
All right, listen, I'm coming up on the top of the hour, so I'm going to have to go here. Do you think that there's any chance I'll hear from a snake tonight?
That's what I'm asking.
Or a dragon?
I'm asking right now, one of your listeners, if you are a snake or a dragon,
call in.
Call in, let's listen to you.
All right, sir, gotcha. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You take care. On our Secret Society line, you're on the air.
Hello, Art.
Yes.
I don't know if I should necessarily give my name.
Well, let's reserve your name.
Okay.
And ask you if you're a member of a secret society.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Well, that admits you here, sir.
Okay. I'm calling in reference to the person who was talking about the Society of the Snake.
That's right.
And the Society of the Dragon.
That's right.
And there is some information there that was completely distorted.
Distorted?
The Society of the Snake, actually the Society of the Serpent,
yes,
is from actually ancient Babylonia and ancient Samaria. It is in close ties with Roman Catholicism, but has nothing to do with the Masons or any other organization.
Well, the way he painted the snakes and the dragons was that they were at the very top, or very near the top, and that Illuminati and Masons and a lot of others are below them and do their bidding. You think that was inaccurate?
Definitely. Actually, the purpose of those organizations, I can speak for the Society of the Serpent.
You can.
But I can't speak for the Society of the Dragon.
Are you a member of the Society of the Serpent?
No, I am not. I'm a member of an organization that's tied to them, called the Chiru. And
the Chiru.
Chiru. And this organization, the Society of the Serpent, are supposed to be individuals that protect the secrets of the church. Now, there is some accuracy in terms of coding, in terms of the Bible and religion, and some books that have not been released to the public that are locked away in the Vatican.
So I've heard, yes.
But
what is the Chiru to the dragons? In other words, what is the relationship?
The Chiru is actually an organization of people who are trained to defend in times that the church becomes, say, attacked by, I don't know, forces of evil, I guess you would say. It incorporates concepts of astral projection, as well as, mixed with the combative arts, martial arts.
Well, I was going to say, are we talking about spiritual warfare or physical warfare? And apparently both.
Yeah, they actually mix the two. Actually, what they are trained to do.
So let's set up a scenario.
Okay.
Let's say that there was an individual out there that the dragons regarded as an eminent threat to the Vatican secrets. What would the Chiru do?
The Chiru are actually supposed to locate
And?
the people and assassinate them.
Lights out, huh?
And that's their ultimate goal, is to protect the Church, the Holy Father, and, I mean, this is at least as much as I know. I'm not at the most advanced levels.
Right.
But their ultimate goal is to protect the Church and the Holy Father from, believe it or not, the Antichrist. And that time is supposed to be the ultimate battle.
While we're on the subject, there are a lot of people who think the Antichrist now lives on Earth. Do you have a view of that?
Not at this time. I mean, I have no view. I mean, there are certain signs there to watch for, but in terms of what I've seen, I mean, are
you a potential assassin?
Well, supposedly, as I said, I'm not at the most advanced level, so my level of knowledge is limited.
Well, generals rarely fight the wars. They say, they direct wars that are fought by people at lower levels.
Yeah. Mine started out in my early teens, and my training has extended for 15 to 16 years.
Both physical and psychic.
Well, primarily the physical, but the philosophical comes along with it.
You see, so
then enhances the, I guess you would say, psychic ability.
Well, then mainly you're a grunt, or a ground troop, or an assassin, or a potential assassin.
I'm sure you've heard the expression before, a need-to-know basis.
Yes.
My sabunim, or my teacher through this,
yes,
is now in another part of the world. So, and then I had another instructor along the way that carried me further. But this is just kind of the organization. The way it sets is you only know your certain portion, another person knows their certain portion.
Sure.
And then at the time, when times are right, you're called together, and then the information is shared. But this is a little interesting. I can't believe I'm actually talking about this.
I can't either. Are you liable to get in trouble?
Could be, but I have no idea. It's been a long time since I've been in contact with.
You don't want to find out, like, in the middle of the night or something?
No. But
that's
the philosophy behind it.
I of course appreciate your calling, and you really warranty to me this is the truth.
Pardon?
I said you warranty to me this is the truth, what you're saying.
As far as I know it.
Well, good luck to you.
Why, thank you, sir.
Take care. Can you imagine that? Somebody who would be an assassin if ordered to do so and trained physically to do that. Do you believe this kind of thing goes on? Huh? I suspect it does. First time caller line, you're on the air. Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, is this Art?
It is.
Hi, Art.
This actually is my secret society line, you know.
Well, how about this? I've been a member of the Solar Temple.
Of the, I beg your pardon?
The Solar Temple?
Solar as in sun?
Yes. Remember the Templars that in 1995 were found supposedly supposedly they committed suicide in France?
Yes, and then
Canada
in
and Switzerland.
Yes.
Well,
You were a member?
I was a member of the Solar Temple, but thank God I wasn't there at that time. I was living in San Jose, California, and sort of got involved with the Solar Temple, flew to Canada about an hour out of Montreal, actually picked up at the airport by some people, and taken to an incredible house outside of Montreal, and spent 10 days with them, with Luc Juret, which was...
May I back you up just a little bit? What compelled you to become interested in and approach the Solar Temple?
I was invited to attend a presentation about the Templars at actually a Unity Church in San Jose, and they said they were a an organization, you know, if you go all the way back to medieval times, we know who the Templars were. But they're saying that the Templars, there have been resurgences of Templar activity over the centuries, and that this Templar organization was an organization that would be helping people on Earth to kind of transform their lives, getting ready for the new millennium. In other words, doing good work, good works for people and helping people kind of change their lives and do good things.
Well,
it was very kind of an interesting 10 days.
So that was the front. Obviously, I mean, that was the front.
Well, apparently, and basically...
Did you, when you went to Montreal,
mm-hmm.
did you get any hint of what lay beyond?
No. I mean, they presented themselves as, a very, very good organization. I never got anything of this doomsday cult, nothing. There was none of that. And
see, that's why when it comes to some of these other organizations that claim to be doing nothing but good, I won't name any,
mm-hmm.
I'm frankly a little suspicious, and we all know what happened with the Solar Temple people. And
oh my God, absolutely.
Sure, and there was a front of doing good and helping people prepare for the new millennium, but behind it all there was something very different.
Sure, and they did. One thing that I found very strange was that I found out that shortly before all these suicides, which I find it hard to believe people killed themselves by tying their hands behind their backs and putting paper or plastic bags over their heads. Some of them died supposedly of gunshot wounds, poisoning, whatever. But I heard that $82 million was transferred out of their coffers to Australia right before this whole thing happened, which I thought was a little weird.
Really?
Yeah, because, in medieval times, the Templars were the bankers.
Yeah.
And this, Philip the Fair and this whatever the Pope was at the time, the Templars fell in disfavor with them, and so they started all these rumors about the Templars being homosexuals and a cult and Satan worshippers, and so they started burning them at the stake. And just to give you an idea of an odd thing, one of the first Templars was Jacques de Molay, and in the Masonic order, the young men, the organization of young men in the Masonic order is the de Molay.
Uh-huh.
And another thing, in the Masonic order, one of the highest degrees is the Templar degree. And did you know that you remember the Jack the Ripper killings?
Oh yes.
Well, there have been talk, or back in history, that possibly Jack the Ripper was a Mason because...
Oh, I know. As a matter of fact, I read that at the beginning of the program.
One of the rituals, one of the rituals in the Masonic order was that disemboweling, which is kind of, not a real fun thing to do. But anyway, I also, I've also been a Rosicrucian for many years.
Whoa.
And, yeah. And,
you really have, you're a joiner, huh?
Well, if you're a seeker of higher consciousness, which is, when you live in California, right now I'm in New Mexico, but, I have been doing a lot of seeking and meditation, and I actually, and I know you're going to think this is very strange, but I've heard of, you've heard of people channeling, right?
Oh yes,
I know. And I never ever thought that I would ever do anything like that, or half the time I didn't believe when I heard people say they were channelers.
Well, I want to say it again because I always get clobbered for this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm suspicious of channeling, and the only reason is because it's so easily faked. That doesn't mean that it's not real.
Right.
That things are not channeled, but
right.
it to me, there's a lot of room for fraud.
Sure.
That's all.
Well, a few years ago, and this is kind of a funny story. I was kind of stressed out, and I decided to sort of take a jacuzzi and relax and meditate.
Right.
And I went into a deep meditation, and I started hearing text in my head. text. You know, it's like words coming
Yes,
out.
yes.
And I started talking out loud, and it really freaked me out. And I thought, wow, but it was really good, what I was thinking, you know, what was coming out. And so I got out of the bathtub. Of course, I dried off and got dressed and sat down in front of the computer, and what came out was called A Message from Mother Earth.
And so how long was it?
It's about, well, since that time I've gotten more, but this one particular message from Mother Earth is 1 page, and I'd really like to read it to you.
Send it to me.
Okay.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
And include your phone number.
Okay.
And
I'm writing a book called Handbook for Humanity, which I've been getting. It's sort of, I guess you could say, it's like if God said, you know, you guys have been hanging out there for a long time. You've messed up a little bit. Maybe I should have given you a little guidebook. Here it is. So that's kind of what it is. And maybe I'll just fax you the first few chapters of that too.
well, no, don't do that by fax. That's too many. My
Send it to you.
My machine will throw up after 3 pages and not print it out.
Well, A Message from Mother Earth is only 1 page, so I could.
Absolutely.
Fax
And if you would include your phone number with that.
Okay, and your fax number is?
Area code 775
775
727
727
8499.
8499.
All right?
Yeah, and in my travels, I've met a lot of interesting people like Patrick Flanagan.
Uh-huh.
You know who Patrick Flanagan is?
I do, yes.
He spent some time at my house, and, I know Ingo Swann. Do you know Ingo Swann?
I have not yet met Ingo, nor have I interviewed him, and
Well,
I should. He's in Las Vegas.
Yeah, he was in Manhattan, so he's now in Vegas?
Well, or he was in Las Vegas and went to Manhattan. I'm not sure where he is right
Well,
now.
the last I talked to him a few months ago, he was in Manhattan.
He is considered the father of remote viewing.
Absolutely, and he sent me a copy of his book, which is called Penetration, and it's about when he remote viewed the dark side of the moon.
I'll look forward to the facts.
It's an incredible book.
I understand. Thank you.
It could ruin his reputation, but
Well,
you should interview him.
I will proceed.
Okay, and so I'll...
Thank you. Send me, if you have any contact information for Ingo Swann, pass it on.
Will do.
All right, take care.
Time traveler. Hello.
Yes. I would give you my name, but you probably already have it with the automatic number identification or CNA that's attached to your phone lines.
You think so?
I'll make it very simple, okay? We used to take airplanes out of Las Vegas and fly to a classified center where we installed huge antenna arrays to monitor magnetic rifts. Okay? We also installed large antenna arrays to talk to the satellites for the government, okay, where a lot of interesting stuff went on. Okay?
Okay.
Now, the problem is ever since I left that facility, I've been having extreme headaches, and I choked down bottles of aspirin ever since. And a lot of other people have left that facility are in the same condition. Okay.
I've heard that.
And I've ended up going to military doctors to have cancer removed. We've signed documents saying that if we get sick after leaving the facility, since the facility doesn't exist, it never happened. Unfortunately, the medical bills don't go away and stuff like that. So if anybody else is out there hearing, I hope they figure out a solution to this area that we went to. Okay? There's all kinds of stuff. Bush has already re-signed an order to reclassify the areas that we were in.
That's correct.
So discussing any information within the area would have me in jail so far that, let's see, the way they put it they'd have to send fruit roll-ups to me in the form of sunshine, you know? So
That's not the way they put it.
That's the way they put it. So basically, there's a lot of stuff going on that a lot of people need to understand what's going on. These experiences in time that people are experiencing with the clocks and that.
Yes.
It's called accelerated time. The government has been watching it. It's a phenomenon that's going on in the universe. It's accelerated time. And basically what happens is you'll be sitting around, you'll go to bed, and you'll wake up and you'll feel like you've slept 3 or 4 hours and your clock has only gone an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Or you'll lose 45 minutes and feel extremely exhausted. they've been experimenting with this and trying to realize and understand it.
And you're saying in
And
those areas in which you traveled in, that's where the experimentation is being done.
Yes.
All right, well,
Experimentation with special aircraft, with magnetic fields and everything else. There's a lot of misinformation flowing around to keep people out of the areas and that stuff. Believe me, if anybody wants to go out there and even think that they can get close,
they can, and it's a very good. Yeah, I know it's a very good way to end up either shot or in jail. Most likely in jail. That's the first order. And you just don't try to get close to these areas out in the desert. There are signs that say deadly force authorized, and they are serious about that. Now, can you imagine that what he just said could be true? Yes. That they're experimenting with Tesla-like devices, perhaps, that alter realities, alter time, alter our present circumstance in some manner? Sure, I can imagine that.